All right. And it will be made available to everyone on the RCLS YouTube channel. If you have any questions as the session goes along, I will be monitoring the chat. The session will run until 3:30 p.m. today. And I will send a follow-up email with information provided by Jen, as well as, just let me know if you want a CE certificate. You can respond to that email once I send it off to you. So we will go ahead and get started. Jen, is that okay if I hand it over to you?
Yep,
all
definitely.
Right. Excellent.
Great.
Okay. Oh, thank you, Olga. I just saw your message. Okay, thank you so much. All right, and I'm gonna mute myself and
okay,
we'll get it going.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Jen, and thank you so much to everyone for having me here. It's always exciting to talk to libraries. Just a little bit about myself. I've been at Novelist for over 3 years now. Before that, I worked in marketing for nonprofits and museums, and then kind of backwards got into library land. I mean, always been a library lover, book reader, but started working for a marketing department in a library, and then went to library school and got my degree. And shortly after, I worked for public libraries, academics, special collections, archives, and then found Novelist, and feel so lucky I get to talk to people all over the country, libraries of all types. So just a little bit about me, and we are going to have a full session today. I made a kind of fast and loose timeline just to give you an idea. We're already running ahead of time. So we're going to look at Novelist Plus first, then a very quick glance at Select, followed by Libraryaware, core collections, and then hopefully give you plenty of space for questions. And as Jen said, she will I'll send anything that we talk about today, links and all kinds of stuff to her. These slides will also be included, and they are hyperlinked to all the different things that I'm going to be talking about. So I'm going to turn off my video. Let me make sure I'm not turning anything else off, because I'm really weird when I talk. And yes, feel free to chat questions. I'll have, we'll have more space at the end, but feel free as things kind of hit you to put them in the chat there. So before we get started, right before we get started talking about Novelist Plus, I did want to call your attention to a recent webinar we had, and that was covering the State of Readers Advisory 2021 survey that was conducted by Library Journal and sponsored by RUSA, ARRT, and Library Reads and Novelist. We had a great panel where we looked at all kinds of aspects of the survey results. The last one that had been done was, I believe, 2013. So really great response rate, 1,200, a little bit over 1,200 responses from not only libraries of all sizes, but library staff in all kinds of roles. So some great insight into readers advisory trends, challenges, all kinds of stuff. So it's a really great read, that survey is. And I think the webinar is also a fun watch. So it's linked here, that the recording also has the chat transcript, which had some really great questions and feedback, as well as a certificate, of course, too, if you're looking for additional learning opportunities. Some of the very frequently mentioned RA successes, especially kind of in the light of the pandemic for the past 18 months, that I think also can inform how we talk about Novelist Plus and Libraryaware, what those can do for you, are, as you see, book bundles, form-based recommendation services, book discussion groups, and book talks. The survey also had some really wonderful kind of sometimes outside of the box things you might have already been doing as well, but things that people are doing that we also wanted to call out, like providing subscription boxes. We've seen that more and more, highlighting not just local authors, but local locations that might play a part in novels. Using video recordings, not just for book talks, but also maybe like, do an unboxing on one of your social channels of your new titles and new arrivals. A lot of buzz about creating book and food pairings, whether that's a book club or maybe a bite-sized book night. So some really great suggestions there, and expanding horizons not on with diverse titles, not only for your readers, but also for your staff. So we saw quite a few people list that they had started kind of an internal staff challenge to read a greater wealth of titles within their library. So I encourage you to go check that out if you haven't already. I think it runs right at about an hour, and some really great ideas there, especially if you're feeling like, oh my gosh, it's been a really hard 18 months. Like, I need some inspiration, or am I the only one? So some good stuff there. But let's move on to Novelist Plus. So hopefully we have some people who have attended some of our crash courses in the past.
And can I interrupt just a moment? I'm sorry.
Oh yeah.
There's a question. Can you explain what subscription boxes are?
Yeah, exactly. Certainly. It's you might call them something different. It's where people are, you might also refer to them as like book bundles, where libraries have started making recurring kind of themed boxes that people can add their name to when they get it. It's kind of taking off that trend of that you can do now with pretty much anything in the mail, Bark Box, or we get a cooking box at my family that my family can do together. So these themed boxes that or packets that libraries put together, and they can have, a kid focus, a family focus, an adult mystery focus. But they just know that every month, quarter, however long, however often you want to set this subscription for, you have this program laid out. So, and I think that's gone into in more depth in that survey. So definitely check that out. All right, so hopefully you have enjoyed some of our crash courses. I think we are on maybe the 9th crash course. This is the first one to kick off. Oh, great. Thank you so much for the question, Peggy. And so this is kind of the first kickoff for this second half of the year. I think our last one was in about March or April, and it is on true crime. We're going to have 2 more in the coming months that we've already planned out. I don't think I'm giving away top secret knowledge, and that it's going to be narrative nonfiction and Westerns are the next 2 that will follow true crime. But that is going to be October 27th. This link will take you to the registration page. It's also going out via email next week. These are recorded, and there's some great, these are really hard because the chat section is just full of all kinds of title suggestions, and it just complicates your to be read pile even further. But our panelists are super excited. We have a panelist from Novelist, and then 2 panelists from Newark Public Library who will be presenting. We're super excited also to have launched these monthly novelist trainings. So this is going to be where hopefully I'm going to cover a few little things today, but each month you can have 45 minutes to get a deeper dive. And so those are live, those are free. And this link will take you to that registration page. So I guess that is next week is the first week of October or the week after. So that novelist one is coming up. We're going to look at the explore pages in just a bit, but just to note that our genre outlines are being kind of converted to, they're being audited right now, and they're going to become an even richer resource than they already are. So just keep an eye out for kind of an updated genre guideline or genre guide look. We have recently updated our Reader's Advisory Prescription Guide. Let me click on that and bring that up. So this is something, if you are looking for exercises for a staff day, or just want to see, do a little bit of work in Reader's Advisory as a team, especially, this was developed to kind of take a look at the types of readers you have in your community, at your library, the type of staff you have on staff, like are they, do they have high book knowledge, but low, they don't want to talk to people, low social interaction, or, less comfort. Or do they have tons of comfort talking to people, but maybe not the book knowledge? So kind of ideas on how to serve the different types of readers you have, as well as the different type of staff you have. So it gives some great suggestions there. And that's a very nice tie-in also to materials that are in Libraryaware, as well as Novelist, to help you address and help those different kinds of staff and readers. So have to give a little shout out to that. That was a project for me over the summer to work on. And then the final thing before we kind of get going in the Novelist database. Oh, Jen, could you launch that poll, please, for Novelist Plus? There is a poll happening right now, just to help me with a little bit of guidance while we go through Novelist Plus. If you could answer kind of your comfort level with Novelist. Are you a novice? Are you an amateur? Are you a regular? Do you use it weekly? Are you an expert? You use it daily, and you want to be leading this seminar session. So fill that out while we are taking a look at this last topic, which is exploring identity. So over the summer, the We Need Diverse Books organization announced that they're no longer going to be using the term own voices, which we have featured quite heavily in Novelist. So we created a blog post where we talk about how, just kind of give an update that we have also been discussing kind of the importance of specificity when it comes to human identity. And so we are speaking with librarians and consultants and others about our vocabulary terms, all the metadata. And so this is something that we are very much welcoming feedback and in sharing your perspectives and your insights. And so there's a link on this blog post that is shared here. And so if that is something that you are passionate about or have something to share, we very much would love to hear that feedback. Okay, so if we close the poll, let's take a look at who I have in the audience today. All right, so great. You're my favorite people because, not my favorite people. I mean, of course you are my favorite people, but we can do, much more of an overview for you. Sometimes I get really intimidated by the experts because I am, you guys are out there in the field doing it every day, and I get to work with it, but not every day. All right, so let's bring over, on that note, thank you, Jen, for that. This is the Novelist homepage when you log in. I'm just going to take a quick walkabout since we do have some people who are kind of newer to this, this database. So when you first log in, one thing I like to encourage is on the top right here. You can either do it here with the sign in or here with the folder. My brain goes to folder. You can have your own folder. Anybody can have their own folder, no matter how you log in to Novelist. It's just a great practice to start. That's not it. This is it. So you can have your own personal folder. You can have one for your department, your readers, your individual patrons can have one. And it's a great way as you're going through Novelist, if you see a book or an article or something that you would think would be perfect for that certain patron who comes in every month and wants, you know, a certain kind of title, you can stash it and not worry about where it went. So you can also share folders between colleagues and other users of Novelist. So my colleague shared her children's books recommendations. But then, you know, here on the left, it says My Novelist Plus. And so that's how you know that you are officially signed in to folders. I like to always highlight this search bar. So you can come in to Novelist and know exactly what it is you want. So say you know you want to talk about The Hate U Give. So you can certainly enter that. You have the title, everything. But you can also say, hey, Halloween's coming up. I need to know anything that might be in Novelist that deals with creepy. So what you're going to do, because this searches all of our metadata, not just titles. So go to creepy, and then this, tab on the far right is going to be, it's one of my favorite tabs. So any list or article or curriculum support, anything that we have created that might feature creepy tone, creepy themes, creepy awards, is going to be here. You see this Iowa Association. We track over 1,000 awards. So if you are wanting to create a list or find some quick titles related to awards, you can certainly do that. And so our librarians here at Novelist, we have over 25 on staff. They are constantly creating new content. So you can click on that. It's a recommended reads list, which features usually about 20 or so titles. And then you see that folder icon here. That is where you can then add it to your folder. So maybe you need, maybe you have a Halloween folder. This also goes for summer reading. You could easily, just as easily, have come in and said, holy cow, I already have to start working on summer reading. You could just type in summer reading, and starting in about February, we'll start populating those lists with that CSLP theme for the year. So there will definitely be different lists, but you can also do, you know, like a genre. You want to see what we've recently put out in different genres. So, and you might hear my cat calling for you during this presentation. Now, let's go into an actual title. Let's go back to The Hate U Give. Especially for our new folks. You can get a lot just from this first search. So you can click on Angie Thomas's name to go and find out more about the author. You can have that really brief description. You can look at Lexile. This is where you can click directly to get your titles, your read-alikes, I mean. But when you go in is where I think you find all that wonderful metadata that we track. Okay, yes, and I will go over where the folder is too. So you can see this is an award winner by this little blue ribbon. And here are our kind of the bread and butter of what we do, the appeal language, or what we call story elements. So all the metadata that is attached to this title, we have inputted, and you can search by these different themes, the character, storyline, also pacing, illustration. We have a slew of different appeal terms that you can really use to find what it is about a title that a reader might want. Now you see here in genre, there's also this books to movies, which is not your typical genre, but we have created what we call library search helpers. And that's things like reluctant readers, books to movies, high interest, low vocabulary, bilingual materials, things that we know that you get on a daily basis, those questions. And so a quicker way to find those is that we have made them their own genre. You can also see that we have media mentions. So those are updated weekly. And I'll show you where you can find that full list of media mentions of media outlets. It's most of the major media outlets, as well as syndicated shows, it's TV and radio. So, and it goes back probably a couple of years as far as the records. So it's something you could easily, if you have a patron who's like, I was just listening to NPR, you know, it's hopefully helping you find that title that that patron just heard about on the news or the TV. On the right are your read-alikes. There are going to be 9 or so recommendations. You also get the reviews, and then that same list and articles tab that you get just doing a regular search. There's one that is specific to this title. This is also a favorite tab, in that any place where this title is mentioned, you will have that hyperlinked list or article or guide. You can see we have a book discussion guide where it's featured, an article about diversity in teen fiction, all kinds of readers advisory materials. So this is, of course, varies depending on the title. Some have more or fewer. There might also be like an author article related. So this can be a really rich resource, especially if you're needing a book display or you're running a book club discussion, all kinds of stuff here. Now, if you're working with a patron and they look at these read-alikes and it's not quite resonating, maybe the search needs to happen again with different kind of combinations. Maybe it's not all of these things that people, this reader loves about a book. Maybe it's just a couple of things. So you can definitely start all over. I love these little ticky boxes and the fact that you can kind of take everything that's an aspect of the hate you give and kind of refine the focus to see if you'll be able to get a read-alike that that the reader definitely feels it's just right. So anything you search in Novelist here, you can then limit on the left or refine on the left with all of these different limiters. So not only audience level, but also if it's an award winner, if it's been mentioned in the media, if it's a series title or not a series title. But then also, of course, by different genres. These are all the story elements that I mentioned. So your theme, your character, your storyline, pace, tone. So you can really get, hopefully, a really personalized suggestion for your reader. If you ever click on something and you're like, oh, no, I didn't want stylistically complex, you can go up here and just X out from that limiting that term. And something that's changed since Kathy did the overview in April, right here, this used to look more like an RSS feed button, but you can create a search alert for anything you search. So if you think, for instance, that if you want to track any title that comes into Novelist that fits that criteria of African American fiction and issue oriented, you can create a search alert for that. So this is great if you're trying to maybe bulk up your collection with certain titles, or you're helping readers or book clubs, or you just want to know, if a certain author or a certain genre comes in, you can set up this search alert. So really nice way to get that notice when something is available. And so again, that's on any results page, you can see this create search alert for this search. Someone asked about the folder. So that is in the top right. When you first log into Novelist, you'll want to click on that, or also sign in. There'll be sign in here. And you can sign in with your personal information, a personal email, or whatever you want to sign in as. And then that will take you to your folder homepage. And you can move things around. These folders also extend across core collections. So you can kind of look at things here in Novelist Plus, add them to your folder, and then look at them in core collections if you'd like. Oh my goodness, we're almost up on our time. So we will talk. There were a couple things I also wanted to share. We'll go to the advanced search page. Now, this is kind of all the things that you could potentially search for a title. So you can come here if you really are looking for a very specific thing, but this just gives you an idea. I joke, I am a mother of a tween who says it cannot be more than 200 pages. So if you have that patron who just wants a very short read, you can certainly do that. Again, different reviews, awards, if it's a part of a series. Here are your media outlets. Of course, we have ABC, Apple TV. We also in here have celebrity book clubs. Let's see, where is that? Did I go by it? Book club, there we go. So if an organization or a celebrity has a book club that's currently active, we are continuing to add more and more book clubs. So you can certainly search by these different things. We also have, this is where you can search specific Lexile, AR, grade level even. And then on the left, this is part of the language we're continuing to really refine and make as best as possible. So different author characteristics. Where the author has self-identified, we've added cultural identity, gender identity, and nationality. And then below that, one of my favorite things is with audiobooks. If you have someone that says, I need an 18+ hour audiobook, you can definitely search by the length of the audiobook. Now I'm going to briefly talk about field codes because those are very, very helpful in being able to quickly navigate Novelist. So we have all kinds of search strategies that I'll send a link to. This will be part of what I send in the follow-up. We've created these different very printable sheets with, so imagine, I think I have, where is it? There we go. Here's the whole list of the search strategies we have on our website. So there's one for summer reading, graphic novels, diverse books, gentle reads. Let's just look at speed search using field codes. And it just adds, because you can also save these searches, just like I showed you with the search alerts. You can also, it allows you to very quickly be able to find what we have in the database. So there's a full list of codes, which is terrifying to me because it's like, I mean, I am in awe of our metadata team. It's very long, and it's wonderful because we have all of that in there. Probably what you're going to really love is that cheat sheet, because this is the these are the most common terms that people are searching. So what audience level, if it's a part of a series or not series, what the genre is, if it's been an award winner. So you can certainly, it's really fun to get in on this. The thing is, if you don't have that cheat sheet handy, you can always come to this advanced search page, and we have put most of the most popular ones here. So when you learn them, they kind of make sense, genre, GN, themes, TH. So we've tried to, where possible, make it, kind of self-explanatory. But so you can easily say fantasy, genre, and then this is where you can appeal factors, or those things that I told you. We can say it's a heartwarming. Oh no, we apparently have no heartwarming fantasies. That's probably the wrong search term for let's say sweeping. I was going off the cuff. I should never do that. So again, you could do your different all your different appeal terms, your different things, and search that way. Let's take a very quick just walkabout of the rest of the things, and then we'll move on, but we can always come back. And then that 45-minute monthly training is always available to you, as we have tons of YouTube tutorials on searching in Novelist that I can also link to. These recommended reads lists are super popular. You can use them to create book displays, help you with book clubs, all kinds of stuff. Probably the most popular one that gets the most use are these for fans of lists. So we try to keep very current on what's kind of happening out there in the bigger world, and what's trending in music and TV shows and movies, and make those lists that where you can ask someone, what are they binging, especially if they're kind of clueless about what kind of book they might want to read. We do make these across all audience levels, so you can have for fans of teen edition. And they do update these, especially as things really kind of come into, the collective subconscious of the world. We've also added, go back to adult, book club best bets for some really great ideas for your book clubs. And then you'll start to see, now that it's almost October, we'll start doing kind of year in review, the best of 2021 up here. Now, for those story elements, we do go through and make kind of pre-made combinations. Every couple of weeks we'll change them. They hopefully will match kind of the time of year. So we see now, of course, more creepy and suspenseful things. But if you if you want to make your own, you can go right below and do that try our appeal mixer. And so you can see all of the different terms that are connected to character. Again, all the different things that you can see in illustration. So hopefully get just the right mix for yourself, for whomever you're helping. Just 2 more minutes and then we'll move on. This orange toolbar, this is where you can browse more fully, more completely through our different sections. So genre, themes are those recurring plot points, plot devices that kind of can be specific to genre or go across genre, like Man Against Nature or The Chosen One, The Dark Lord, Secret Baby is one I always talk about. The award winners, where you can search by genre or by audience level, I believe. And then audiobooks, we have specific appeal terms for audiobooks as well. So do you want it read by the narrator, read by the author? Do you want a full cast with sound effects or just a single narrator? Do you want distinctly voiced or whatever it is that listener to audiobooks might like? How they like their audiobooks, we know, is very specific for a lot of people. So you'll be able to find that in that audiobooks searching. Now, the other quick links I want to draw your attention to is we have some really great, I mentioned, book discussion guides, as well as suggestions. Book display ideas have not only titles around themes, but also some of them have flyers that you can take and use to create those book displays. These genre outlines is what is going to be kind of beefed up even further. We track hundreds of genres in Library, in Novelist. And so you can get a really great introduction to any genre that you might have questions about. So they're got, the introduction, the history, themes, where it's going, key titles, key authors to know. So it's a really great resource, especially if you're trying to learn more about certain genres. And then if we get off the call and you forget everything I told you, you can go to this How Do I, and then down here to learn how to use Novelist. And that will give you a great introduction. That'll take you to our support site, to our videos, to the search strategies I showed you. So that's always there for you if you come in and are just at a loss for how I showed you, how to do what I showed you. All right, hold on to any questions. We're going to quickly move to Novelist Select. And this one, there's not as much to show you there, so we'll just be there for us. Oh, except I moved the slides around. Aha! Okay, so if you haven't seen Novelist Select in your catalog, let's take a look at it. So Select takes everything that we just looked at in Plus and kind of puts it in a little capsule, little module, and drops it right into your catalog. So we're going to look at our dear friend Louise Penny. She is a favorite at Novelist. And it's right here, this read alikes and recommendations. So it takes everything that we just looked at and puts it right here where your patrons are. It's been, of course, super helpful for a while. Libraries have been closed or on reduced hours, and maybe all of your readers are coming in from online versus from within the library. So the first thing, if it's a book in a series, you're going to have that series order. Never fear if you don't have the complete series, that series order will still be preserved. It just won't hyperlink to that record. Underneath, you get 9 different read-alike recommendations. You get 9 different authors to try out, and then the 3 series. You can always go to that title listing in Novelist. This is like those clicky boxes that I just showed you in Plus. They're this really fun, interactive clicky boxes where it's kind of a rabbit hole for me. Like I just like to click and see what these are going to be in your catalog, instant recommendations for these different metadata elements that are attached to glass houses. Ratings and reviews. This is also where if you have, if a title has a Lexile level or an accelerated reader level, it will also show up here. And then related content will have, so it has the award winners lists, as well as there can be additional content here. And it looks like you also have your e-resources that you're highlighting. Okay, so that's just a quick look at what Novelist Select looks like. But one thing I also wanted to draw your attention to that you can do is we have an analytics dashboard. And so what that does is it takes all of that data that people are searching in your catalog, and it allows you to see what people are clicking on, what they're looking at. It's a little bit different than your circ data because they might not be checking them out. This is your library, your overall look. But you can also go down, you can request access to just your specific location. And so it's nice because you can track how clicks have changed over time, what people are looking at. Title reader likes is almost always the top there. But my favorite here is the reader insights, because you get the top 50 titles that people in your library are searching, essentially. Like it's whatever, when someone searches a title, and if Novelist Select returns results, that essentially is what you are seeing here. So I think this is a great way to track whether that book display resonated with people. Did that book program make people search that author more? Did you mention something in a newsletter and people started searching it? Is your local school district pushing a certain title, or are you doing one community, one book? So it's a great way, I think, to see, to really directly see, without doing a survey or anything like that, what people are searching for. And there's our friend James Patterson. He's almost always on this front page just because of the quantity of titles. So you see the top authors and then again the top series. So a nice bit of kind of stealth information that's yours anyways, it's your data, so might as well use it. So if you don't have access to your dashboard, you just need to email this email. Again, you'll get these slides afterwards, novelistselectsupport@ebsco.com, and say, hello, I would like to have access to my dashboard. And then you'll get your login, and it's just as easy as that. All right. So let's take a look now at Libraryaware. And Jen, if you could launch that Libraryaware poll. Let me get back to there. So you can also put in chat, like if you're a frequent, one of the things I wanted to know was if how you want to use Libraryaware, or how you currently use it. Do you make flyers, book lists, e-blasts, book carousels, social media posts? Not sure if there's something else you make or you want to make that's not in this list. Feel free to put that in the chat. And so let's just, while you're filling that out, let's talk about some of the latest in Libraryaware. So we have our designers are adding over 100 designs every month. And so some of our latest ones are these, there's a whole collection around the 1,000 Books Before Kindergarten initiative. So there's logs they can track, there's certificates of completion, there's flyers, advertising, about the program. So it's a whole complete collection. Email blasts, I think, as well. We do know, we've realized in the past 18 months, especially since about the spring, that libraries are now kind of combining their COVID online programs with in-person programs. So there's a little bit of hybrid programming going on. So we've added some designs for that, where you can feature the in-person dates as well as maybe a QR code or a spot to put the online information. We've heard from a lot of folks that DVDs are making a big resurgence. And so they needed some materials to talk about new releases. And so there's, again, a collection of different templates across different formats there for you. And then we've added, and I think we're going to continue to add more and more genre trifold brochures. So they're titles all related to a certain genre. Great, thank you so much. So it looks like a general overview would be helpful, as well as it looks like people are really wanting to or already creating flyers or book lists predominantly. We also created some really lovely reading challenge materials, such as like a book journal and different ways to track that. And coming soon, we actually already released this YouTube promotional material, and the library has already created some as of today. Some Black Friday, Cyber Monday materials. It's kind of looks like Black Friday, but it's like a book catalog essentially. And then kid book bundles. We are increasingly creating collections of things like that 1,000 books before kindergarten, whole collections where across all the different formats you could possibly have, you'll have that design. If you use Nextreads, which is our subject and genre-based newsletters with reading recommendations, we have our themes for October and November already released. You can imagine there's quite a bit of atmospheric and creepy and Halloween-y ones, but there's some other great ones there. That link, you will get that link. And then just as there are monthly novelist trainings, we now have monthly Library-Aware trainings. Again, I think they're 45 minutes. It will be this coming up Tuesday. And so free and also recorded. So you can always access that afterwards if you miss it. We do also have that YouTube channel that has tons of Library-Aware 2-minute and under tutorials if you are looking for different things. And I'm not sure how often these are happening, but there's one coming up, an Ask Us Anything. I think we've done a couple of these. So this is more, you submit a specific question, and then Angela will go over all kinds of questions. These have been super popular. I don't think they like fill up. I think there's an unlimited audience. So definitely drop by those if you have some questions. So let's take a look at Library-Aware. If you have specific questions about how to use this product, I am happy to stay put afterwards. This is kind of, as a person who did marketing and graphic design and stuff, I love this product. And so I can get in the weeds a little bit, or not in the weeds, I get super excited. And I'm happy to talk about this. Also, always know that as you're working in Library-Aware, on the bottom left here, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. is live chat. So you can chat with our support team here, and they can look at your screen with you, answer any questions you have. So they are always get top marks and super, super helpful. So Library-Aware, for our new to the product people, was created for librarians by librarians. And so the hope is that you can come in here and really search for anything and everything you need. So do you need reader's advisory materials? Do you need just general signage? Do you need an infographic for a board report? Do you need materials to help with your story times? Like, what is it you need? So you can do something like search. Hopefully you are all recovered from summer reading, which is funny, I know, because you're probably already starting on summer reading for next year. So you can come in and search summer reading. Limit on the left here by whatever kind of format you are wanting to create. You can also limit by your audience level. We create, the bulk of the materials we create for summer reading are along those collaborative summer library program themes. So you can see the Tales with Tales. But we also do create additional designs for some of those smaller themes that we know, and not smaller, but other themes that happen in the country. You'll also see Canadian and Australia designs. But so this is where you can see kind of the range of designs. But you can do this, and let me just show a preview. With any term, our designers tag these creations with as many different things as possible to try to give you kind of all the different access points. So you could come in and search pink or animals, or you could search by genre or by author. If we've created any kind of book display guide with a specific author, you can search by that. So definitely come in and see what we have. You can always, if you search, you can also clear out your search, and then you'll see here you have the full 8,022. If you're just dying to see what's in there, it's going to search by the newest first. So I've had recently people ask me the questions of how can I see everything that's been created? So that's the quickest way to kind of see everything that's being created. But let's go back to the home page here. The new releases, we work really hard to make sure that at least 30 days ahead of time, if not more, you have the designs in there that you're going to need. The designs stay there. So like right now, if they hadn't already released Halloween, there would be Halloween things from last year and previous years. Same with pretty much anything, any holiday or anything that I say happens in the library life cycle, like back to school, banned books week, specific month celebrations like Women's History Month, Black History Month. They're going to be in there. Also, if maybe someone of national or international significance passes away, a beloved author, we will try to get a commemorative design in there within 24 hours. I think I have one here of when Eric Carle and Lois passed away. So something you could go in really quickly and create a design for. As major awards, literary awards are announced, we'll quickly throw in those designs for those. Or if something just kind of takes over the brain of the world, like Bridgerton, or at the beginning of the pandemic, it was Tiger King, we will create designs for that. So of course, we've done a ton with COVID, really trying to give you all of the resources you need, general signage, book displays, e-blasts to help you with communication, all kinds of things for you. These designs were actually probably more, as far as the e-blasts, were more populated than a typical e-blast might be, just because we know that a lot of people just were running low on capacity. You had so many things going on. We tried to make it as good to go as possible. Now, let me show you my other favorite section on here on the main page is on the very bottom, the Trending Now section. This is trending across all Library-Aware users. So you get a really nice view, I think, of what people are doing. There's a lot with 8,000 templates, of course. So sometimes I'm like, oh, I forgot that holiday is coming up, or something like that. So a great way to see what other people are into. Now let me just go into my folders here. If you have a shared, if you and your coworkers are, if you have several people, I guess I should say, in your branch or your location using Libraryaware, keeping your foldering organized is a great thing. So because we have a couple of our own personal internal group accounts that I can say from experience are kind of a free-for-all. And so it gets a little messy. So we have best practices for how to organize your folders. And this is where you can see what everybody's creating. So let's just go to book lists. And just to show you, so I created this Bridgerton design, and by created, I mean searched it, and this is exactly how it looked. But you can easily get a PDF or a PNG. You can also share it to Facebook, Twitter, or Pinterest. You can schedule that. It doesn't have to go immediately. You can attach any kind of links you need to it. So while we do have social media appropriately sized designs, you can also just take a letter, a regular flyer and post it because it looks beautiful. So just know that we do have social media specific designs, but you can really post anything and everything to social media. But say you have just clicked on this Bridgerton template, and just to show you, it's a drag and drop editor. So on the left here are your different pieces you can drag and drop. You can add images. We do have millions of images. They have all been cleared for copyright. So they're print quality. You can send these away to a printer if you need to, or you can also print from home or from the library or from home. I'm from home now. Novelist is mostly remote now. I always like to guess what they're creating by what they've most recently uploaded. But so you can pick from our selection. You can also upload from your own computer. And we do have book jackets in Libraryaware. So it's a great way to hopefully save you some time. You don't have to go out and search for a book jacket to add in. So say you love everything about this Bridgerton flyer. You don't need to change the colors. Everything is its own piece and part. If you did, say you just wanted one chandelier and not 2, 3 chandeliers, you could certainly delete them. I would not judge. But say you do not have the Duke Who Didn't in your collection. So you activate that, you highlight, click on that title. You go over to up here to what I call the swappy arrows. And that's where you're going to be able to change out that title with the book jackets. Probably not at all appropriate, but this is a partner vendor. So it does not depend, it's not dependent on whether Novelist has these titles. It's millions of book jackets. It's going to pop in at the right ratio, so you don't have to resize it. But then if you want to resize it, it's not going to squish or squeeze. So, especially if you're just getting into graphic design, it's hopefully giving you a lot of some great starter tools. So there you have it. You've made it fit your collection. You can, from this page, you can print it. And this is where you can also publish it to Facebook, Twitter, or Pinterest. And then do with it whatever serves your community the best. These designs will never go away. Once you've done them, you can have them forever. We very rarely delete templates unless nobody has used them for years or they're no longer pertinent. Newsletters, one last thing, we're getting to the move on portion, but I do want to talk about our newsletters. This is where if you want to create a newsletter that you send out monthly, weekly, this is where you'll do that under that newsletter section. Again, do attend those Libraryaware trainings or try YouTube if you want kind of a deeper dive into newsletters. But the advanced list is what the Nextreads newsletters are going to feature. You get that advanced list 90 days ahead of time. And so this, even if you're not using Nextreads newsletters, is a really great tool for kind of collection development, because our librarians here are scouring all the same kind of journals that you probably are and choosing 6 or so titles, new titles per newsletter. So that's 20, 6-ish times 6 each month or every other month. So it's a great way to kind of see what we're looking at, what's caught our attention, and maybe some ideas for what you could add to your collection if you're looking for things like that. You can upload subscribers, you can segment subscribers, you have unlimited subscribers that you can send to, you have unlimited email that you can send. So it's a really great, I think, feature, especially if you are just dipping your toe into sending out emails, or if all of a sudden everybody wants to get things from emails, you don't have to worry that you're going to get an error message that you run out of all your emails. And then the thing I really like, you get the metrics, of course, of what people are looking at. But if you're trying to make your life easier, that was always my goal as a marketing person. Make my life easier. I need to know which logo I need. I need to know what my links are. I need to know where all the official library related images are. I know what color blue I'm featuring. That lives under admin. You're only going to have access to this if you are an administrator. So for your specific location. But this is where you can upload images that everyone should have access to. So if you have a therapy dog that comes in and people can read to, if you have a mascot or an image of your location, or your headshots, you don't have to worry if it's on Jane's desktop or if it's on Bob's OneDrive. You can make templates. If you don't want people to create, if you don't want to use our templates and you want to create something that you use every month, you can create kind of master templates that you can access every month. You can create your branding sets, as many as you need, that go across all of your different formats. And then you just pop them in and pop them out of your different designs, whichever one you're using. Same with your custom swatches, color swatches, your custom fonts. So it's hopefully really saving you a lot of time. And to just show you that, one of the things I like to do is you go to a newsletter list. It's probably one of my favorite ways to see how you can do that. It's going to load, I promise. These are the Nextreads. This is a Nextreads topic. So armchair travel. And so you just click on that header, and then I have all my branding sets plugged in. And so I can switch them out. So you could have one for if you do, your adult library section, your children's, your teens, if you have friends groups that you want to, send an email out for. You can have as many of those as you need, and really hopefully save your time and heartache trying to find where all of that material lives. Let's see. Then if you are, in our last minute, if you are outside of the hours of support, you can also go to help and support on the bottom right here. And that is where you can either send an email and we try to respond within 24 hours, or you can go to our knowledge base, and that knowledge base has links to all of those different kinds of YouTube tutorials. As I mentioned, we have cheat sheets. You can read things, you can watch things, you can search, excuse me. So a little bit of everything to hopefully get you going. There are, in this Jumpstart Libraryaware section, this is where you can really get an even more in-depth picture of what I just showed you. But it's super fun. We try to be really current and relevant, and keep an eye on what we hear you're seeing, trends, things that people are talking about, and give you lots of material to quickly and easily do your job. I mean, I joke you could come in here and be like, oh goodness, the printer broke again. It might be called copier. We have curbside printing. I think we do have a copier, like the copier is broken. Or we're having a food drive. So definitely play around in here. It's really fun. And great to be able to create things. Okay. Now we're almost through. You've been hanging on. That's really wonderful. We're going to just do a quick overview of core collections, and I might be able to add some more time in case you have specific questions about any of the other products. If you can put that last poll up, Jen, that is, what is your comfort level with core collections? And I will bring over core collections. As we speak. So just to get a gauge on your, if you use it, if you are a super user or a newbie, a novice. Okay, if you'll close that. Okay, yay, all my novices. So, so core collections, you may have experienced the giant books, the giant print books. We still print them, but they're super big. You can use them as doorstops or coffee tables. And the challenging thing about them is the moment they come out, they're pretty much outdated because of the printing, timeline. And so we have created this online interface where you can search really anything and everything that we have considered. So core collections, for those who have not heard of the product, it's a neutral vendor, not based on vendor database, where we gather recommendations of essential titles, recommended titles, and supplemental titles that libraries should add to their collection. A group of librarians, library world people sit on the board. They review the recommendations. They look at reviews and journals and awards, all kinds of stuff, to determine what, if a title is considered to be added to a collection. So that was a really backwards way to say essential titles. Oh no. Essential titles are those things that every library should have. So say you have a limited budget and you just need to know, I need the best of the best graphic novels for this age level. That's going to be your essential titles recommendation. So recommended titles here on the second, this section, those are going to be, maybe you have a little bit more money. Maybe you're really looking to beef up a certain genre, a certain Dewey range, you're starting a new initiative. Those recommended titles are, wonderful to have, but not, the highest rating. And then supplemental is maybe you have decided to have the best collection of graphic novels in the state, or you want to really bulk up a certain subject. So those supplemental titles are going to be like, maybe you got a grant at the last minute, or you have a whole bunch of money to spend. Recommended titles, maybe you are opening a new location or a new section and you want to have a comprehensive section. So those are the three different audience level or recommendation levels. And so there's a couple of ways you can use this, not only for deciding what to purchase. So you can just go by, a broad search by everything that is rated essential. It's going to default to what is the newest entered into the database, and it is weekly, again, a weekly update. So you can do an essential search and just look that way. When you click on that title, you get all kinds of information. So of course, author, publisher. If there are any reviews, right here, you can see it kind of groups all the reviews together. So you can see all of the different reviews, that were connected to that title. There's an abstract as well as the subject headings and any awards that that title has won. So it's a nice overview of the title, especially if you're working in genres that you're not familiar with. Maybe you know nothing about literary fiction or space and time books, but you've noticed that that's really in demand at your library. So how do you quickly find those titles to purchase? So that's one great way to quickly locate some recommendations. Another way to use core collections is for weeding, which is, I know, everybody's favorite. On the bottom left here in our reference shelf, there's our weeding checklist, which specifically kind of talks about not just weeding, but how you can use core collections with your weeding process. And so one thing we recommend is you can upload your local collection to core collections and then search against it. So what that looks like here in the notes for the specific title, it says title not held in local collection. But if you just were to go in and search fantasy, it helps if you spell it right. So if you were going to go in and just search fantasy, you can see more quickly that you get that this title is in the collection or not in the collection. You can again limit on the left if you just want to say only books. If you want to limit further, you can download this. So it's something, if you want to you'll be able to limit to titles held at the library or titles not held at the library. So kind of a quick way to see what we recommend. And this can help you make decisions, especially like how many copies of that James Patterson book do I need? Do I need all of them? This text here is from, 20 years ago, are there any newer texts that are more recommended for me to purchase, especially if maybe this is damaged or someone has brought a title to my attention that it needs to be replaced? What do I replace it with? So hopefully giving you guidance, especially when considered with other things like your circulation data, patron input, maybe different initiatives in your library, hopefully gives you a nice tool to find some new suggestions. Under that advanced search, this is set up a lot like a Novelist in the way you search. Under advanced search, this is where you can go more specifically by those recommendation levels. Again, essential is must have, recommended is it's great to have it if you have the money. Supplemental is like as it sounds, supplemental if you have the money and want the most comprehensive feature. So let's just search. Let's do a Dewey range search here. Let's just do 635. Not really a range, just. So you can see we have 93 recommendations within 635, and you can again limit a little bit further. There are 6 databases that comprise core collections. So there's nonfiction, children's, middle and junior high, graphic novels, and senior high. 2, 3, 4, 5. I feel like I'm missing one. I think there's also a fiction one, right? Yes, there is a fiction one. And so you can search specifically by a specific collection, or you can search across all collections. And again, on the right here, you see that folder. This is where you can add things to your folder or look at the items you have put in your folder from Novelist and do some work there. We will be adding, I guess, starting soon, 2022 books. We do a highlight every month of search strategies and award winners. This is something that we as Novelist took under our wing probably right when I started about 3.5 years ago. And so we've started slowly novelistizing it, and that we've added things like some of our subject headings, our genres, to more closely align them to Novelist. And we're continuing to make this hopefully a really robust product. It was already before, but a really robust database for you to be able to come to and find those recommendations. This is also a great location, a great place to go. I mentioned, being able to find reviews. This is also a place to go if you just want all the different reviews. You can just type right away and get all those different reviews. Let me see. So that is, I like to highlight before we leave. This is also, where did it go? Also in Novelist. Up here usually, maybe not in here. In Novelist for sure. There is a section that says feedback. We very much value your feedback, especially because you are in the fields, as I say. You are in the trenches. You are every day working with readers and your staff members, and if a read alike is a great suggestion, or maybe it needs to be like you don't understand why we paired that read alike with that title. So up here on the top, we very much value your feedback. You are going to hear from a real person. It comes to us daily. So do send that feedback. A lot of our really great advances within the products, all of them, Libraryaware, all of them have come from suggestions from you. Also suggest read-alikes. And do know that we very much value your input, your contributions, your ideas. And so please do that. Another thing I say right before we're going to take some questions is our website here is ebsco.com/novelist. On here, you can see our blog, which is the latest. We have wonderful blog posts almost daily. You can search again by reader's advisory, by all kinds of tags. There's a core collection. You can see everything we have in there. We recently did a reader's advisory article on how to reach gamers. This survey says invest in your staff is also related to that RA survey we talked about at the very beginning. You can sign up for our newsletters. We have a Novelist newsletter as well as a Libraryaware newsletter, where you can get all the trends, all the feature updates, a little bit of everything. We highlight different libraries, so really helpful newsletters. And then the last thing to know about the Novelist homepage or the Novelist website is this Idea Center. And so I'll send a link to that to Jen afterwards, but this is where you can find a lot of the things that I talked about today. So Improve Your RA is going to have that prescription guide that I mentioned. Promote Your Resources has some novelist materials if you want to be able to promote the usage of Novelist in your library. Evaluate Your Reader Services is actually where that RA prescription guide is. Improve Your RA has that, has some trainer videos, has explanations about the story elements. You can have some, this is where those search strategies live. So just some really great content here for how to use all of our different products. So with that, I want to give plenty of time for questions. If there's something you'd like me to go over again or explain further, I'm happy to do it for any of the things that we have seen today.
You can feel free to unmute yourselves to ask questions, or if you'd like to place them on the chat, I'm happy to read them out loud.
Thank you, Olga. I'll just, we'll go to also, I'll show you our YouTube channel here while we're waiting. So if you go to a playlists, this is where you can get all those crash course webinars. So yeah, we've done gentle reads, relationship fiction, literary fiction, graphic novels. These are really, they have just been so well received. They are super popular. So if you sign up for one, definitely get your seat before it starts, because they can fill up. And that is, you can register now. There's also where all of our, we have some really great micro trainings, and then just some tutorials. Most of them are closed captioned, so you can sit at the desk if you have some time and look over how to find books. And this also goes for, we have our Libraryaware YouTube channel as well. So that gives you, especially if you're wanting, I know newsletters are a little bit more in depth than I covered. Hopefully you got an idea of kind of how to make a flyer or how to start the flyer process anyways. But newsletters, creating like social media posts or widgets, there's a little bit of everything.
And I just have a quick question.
Yeah.
I thought the crash course sessions were like small bites, like 15 minutes. But when you just navigated to where to find the archives, it looked to be more like an hour and 15 minutes, or maybe I saw that correctly.
No, they're 45, maybe they are an hour. They are an hour, and then 15 minutes at the end for a novelist training that's focused exclusively on looking at that genre and novelist, how to find tools and tips and tricks for that specific novelist genre.
Okay, so it was,
Yep.
that's what I was thinking of, the 15 minutes that you had stated. That's where my confusion was coming in.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and then when we post those on our blog, we'll always post the recording. We will usually call out that 15 minutes separately. So if you just want to see that 15-minute training, I believe we usually call it out. Let's see, separately. Yeah, you can skip ahead to the training session. So you can watch the whole thing or just do that. And then we do the chat transcript because I tell you, this is where my Southernness is going to come out. The book suggestions are amazing. And so this is, wonderful to have. And then just to get also camaraderie with librarians across the country and see what challenges you have with different genres and books maybe that you loved or didn't love. So it's a really, we've developed a really wonderful, I think, following for these different crash courses.
That's great. Thank you. A question came through. Can you add Instagram as an option to post to in Libraryaware?
I tell you, that is we are continuing to work on that. You may or may not know about the workaround. So that's, it's more of how Instagram has configured their API, I think. So, and so we have continued the conversation with them. Right now, it's a kind of a workaround in that there are the right ratios, and you just have to, excuse me, save it as an image and then post to Instagram. But do know that's something that as soon as we're able to add it, it will be there. Yep, no problem. And we love, the social media, regardless of whether you use like a scheduling platform or anything like that. The nice thing is we've had libraries tell us that they go through and, they schedule all of their closings for the year because there's not like a limit on when you can schedule. This is where kind of your dashboard would be for all the different things you have scheduled. If you do have Facebook or Twitter posts, so you could go right now and make all of your holiday closing social media posts, or you could, start doing really any and everything. If you do a Tuesday training or Tuesday tutorial post, you can schedule ahead. So hopefully, oh, and then I should also say, if you like to create things on your own, you can also just type in blank and get a blank template that you can specify by your whatever format you'd like. So do not think that you have, to do one of our templates. You certainly do not. You can flex those creative skills and create your own. How do you sign on to Novelist so that we can make a personal account? Do you mean like how to make a folder? So Jen, how do you access Novelist? Is it just on your, I know every library kind of accesses it differently. Like, is it just on
me how I sign on?
Well, just like, is it just on your library homepage? I should have looked how people get to your Novelist.
So every library, I think, is going to be different.
Okay. Yeah, so find out how your library does it. It's definitely sometimes it's just automatically on all the screens, and sometimes you have to sign in with your library card, or sometimes and then from in there you can sign in to kind of personalize it more. Well, let me throw up my contact information. If you would like to send me an email, it's JHEUER Scott@EBSCO.com. Feel free to send me an email about anything and everything. And I will be sure to get all of this information to Jen so she can forward it to you. And thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Jen. So for everyone here, you'll be receiving a follow-up email from me either tomorrow or Friday with the information that Jen has provided, as well as Jen's contact information. So be on the lookout for that, and then you'll just respond to that email for your CE certificate, and we'll get those out by early next week. So with that, I don't see any further questions coming through. So I'm going to say thank you, everyone, for attending. And this was fantastic. I mean,
Great.
I learned so much too.
Great.
Yeah, so thank you. I really appreciate that. So I would like to have another session maybe in about 4 to 6 months.
Okay.
But Jen, you and I will be in touch about that.
Okay, excellent. I hope everyone enjoys their week.
Hey, thanks so much. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.